Oh, I mean, I frankly do feel that the Europeans have a much more mature overall outlook on on this issue. Most people that I know anyway who were brought up in Europe were brought up with a little bit of water blended with wine when they were in their teens. Finally, with a little bit of wine at the dinner table, when they were in their late teens, and by the time they hit 18, it's not a big deal anymore. And it's really in countries that don't have as mature an outlook on the issue that tend to have problems with binge drinking, etc. I mean, I can see good arguments on either side, but I mean, I was responsible. I went through this weird period where I was 18 and I was legal, and then I became illegal when they changed when they changed it to 21. And then I went back to being legal again, 2 years later. I was in this weird kind of limbo thing. And, I think that I was responsible when I was younger. You're going to, I don't want to bring up the sort of, all the classic, well, if you can go and fight in a war and you can't have a beer, all those things. It's a complicated issue. But I just do think that rather than looking at it from a hysterical point of view, which I think is often the case, that people take a calmer, long view, recognizing that that the enjoyment of alcoholic beverages is a part of humanity. That's that's part of what we're all about by and large as human beings. I mean, people believe that we went from a hunter-gatherer existence to a settled agricultural existence in order to have enough grain to make beer. It is central to the human experience. And I think it's and it's healthy for you. I mean, in moderation, and it's better for you than not having it. So if you really want to bring people up properly, teach them how to eat properly and teach them how to drink properly. I mean, if you want to ban something that's going to cause a lot of problems, you could say, well, let's ban butter, or let's ban. I mean, if you want to look at the overall cost of the population. But better is to teach people how to cook, how to eat, and how to live well. Oh no, there are alcoholics in Europe. I can be quite sure of it. I mean, unfortunately, alcoholism, is a disease. It is a problem, just as overeating is a disease. Beer essentially is food, and people are going to abuse all sorts of foods, in different ways, and whether this involves your, eating this and that and growing to be, 400 pounds and not being functional, or it's an alcohol problem. All of these things, are going to be problems across the board in society. I think you can take a more mature outlook on it as a society, and not look at it as whether, again, it's it's eating or it's alcohol. Is it a moral problem, or is it really teaching people how to handle themselves in a world that hands everything to you on a platter and says, well, here it is for you to consume. And I think that the Europeans have a better outlook on it, but they're by no means perfect. Well, I can't say that I can answer a question like that so quickly, but I'm reminded of Francois Mitterrand's last meal, which I think lasted about 2 days, and had sort of every little, ortolans and whatever else, and all of his friends around him, and the greatest drinks that you could be brought. I mean, I've had beers as old as 1869, which were unbelievable. I would be gathering up things for years for such an occasion. So and like Mitterrand, I would make that meal last for like 2 or 3 days and say, okay, then that's it. So it's not a question I could answer quickly, but I can assure you that it would be awfully good.